2 minutes in, we were in Hammond, and you know, he's a keeper, so we're used to him sort of, he's a really bold keeper, right? So he has come out to grab balls away from the feet of kids before.
I remember the striker took a really big touch, and I was like, perfect, I'm gonna come steal it while he's not got it. And then I remember grabbing it. Next thing I know, I'm just on the ground.
This collision happened, and it didn't look weird, it didn't sound weird, and he went down for a second, and we thought, oh, the wind had just been knocked out of him. So we were just sitting on the sidelines. We were like, it's okay, buddy, like, get up, you're fine. And he did, because he saved the ball, and then he sort of went to like walk away, and then he fell down again. And that's actually when Roger came out, his coach. And you know, came over and checked him out, and then Roger motioned to us to come out, and so my husband came out, and I saw him sort of talk to Elliot, and then my husband was like we gotta go.
It's kind of like in movies, whenever, you know, the main character's sitting there and they kind of space out and they just hear a bunch of people talking around them, but they're not really listening, it's like background noise. That's what was happening.
At one point, actually, his speech cleared up completely, and we were like, oh, maybe we're good, maybe we just need to go to urgent care. And then he was sort of silent for a second, and then he turned to my husband and he said, I'm gonna have a seizure.
I just started praying. I was praying. I prayed about like 4 or 5 times, and then on my 5th one, I had a seizure. And then blackout. Next thing I know, I'm in the ICU.
So he had 2 more seizures in the ER, and his airway blocked. So then they had to they had to intubate him. So it just went downhill really fast. And they did a CAT scan, and they came out and told us that he had a fractured skull and a brain bleed. And we were just like, are you kidding me? His game started at 2. They made the first incision at 6:45, and he was out by 9:45. You know, the first thing that happened when he woke up is that his neurosurgeon came in and was like, do you know who Peter Cech is? And Elliot was like, yeah, keeper for Chelsea, like, right? He's like, well, you know, he has to wear some special headgear. How do you feel about that? And he's like, I can rock that. And then they like had this whole conversation about where Peter Cech sort of stood in the constellation of goalkeepers, and the neurosurgeon turned to me afterwards and was like, this kid doesn't need to be in the ICU. But when we took him down to sort of get the cognitive tests to figure out like, okay, how do we do the return to school? The woman who gave him the test was like, I don't know what to tell you, but he has no restrictions.
I've learned that sometimes I'm a little too hard on myself, and I've had a lot of coaches tell me that, but it's not the same whenever coaches tell you that. You have to recognize it yourself.
You know, we had a moment where, you know, I wondered, like, is he even gonna wanna play again?
Whenever I first got hit, I was like, shoot, I'm never gonna play soccer ever again. Like, even if I can, I'm not going to. I don't wanna risk feeling like this again. And I've also realized that, you know, I have a lot of passion for the game, but sometimes, you know, there's more in life than soccer. But now that I'm back, I'm feeling better, and I'm like, man, I feel great. I want to go play.
Support from BRSC, the support from U-High, from his team, right? The varsity team, the first card that we got was like the entire, he's a freshman. He doesn't even know all these boys, and they had sent a card. It was one of the first things we got when we got home.
I've been offered a coaching job from Coach Stanley to coach with the 10-year-olds. The teams that I've been on have offered me to like stay connected, be like a team manager type of thing, and just kind of help out.
Coach Paul called me like in the hospital like twice just to like check in. Coach Roger had been like, well, he can be on the sideline, like he can coach, like whatever we can do. Coach Chris, same, was like, we want him there. The one that he got most excited about was Coach Stanley was like, you know, he can help coach the pre-competitive, right?
Coaching excites me the best because being a goalkeeper, majority of the game I'm shouting at my teammates, and now I kind of get to learn what to shout. It's pretty interesting seeing all the like talent. Like I've seen some kids that are like pretty stand out. And I know that some of them are gonna grow up for a love for the game, and kind of like how I have a love for the game, and I just want to give them that same love that I have for it.
Both of his doctors, his neurosurgeon and the concussion people, have been very clear about it's a year. Like he doesn't get to come back for scrimmage or any kind of contact for a year, full stop.
I feel like it's gonna be nice because I'm working myself up, and I get to do stuff that usually, like, sometimes whenever I practice, I have to get worried about how tired I am because I have a game in like 2 days. But now I don't have to worry about that. So I can just grind it out, and I can help other kids grind it out.
This is our mixed bag, right? Because like he'll come to practices and he can participate in some of it, but not all of it. So it's a mix of like, cool, he's here and he'd rather be here, but also like he'd rather be out there.
Some people come back from these type of injuries and they're like not the same player, but I want to make sure that whenever I come back, I'm better than how I was before I left. Obviously, first, I want to thank God because like he's been helping me through it. I want to thank Sarah. She plays on 2010 Black. She's my girlfriend. She's like awesome. And I thought after I came back and I was not the best looking person on the planet, thought I was going to be dead meat, but she's staying with me. I want to thank my dad because my dad, he's been like super like supportive about it, and he, you know, I feel like he kind of knows what I'm going through a bit. I was the soccer kid at school. I was just insanely obsessed with soccer, and now I kind of realize I'm like, man, I mean, soccer's great, but I wouldn't trade my life to play soccer.